Further debate? The member from Guelph.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to speak on Bill 276, an omnibus bill with 28 schedules dealing with a number of unrelated items. So I'm going to focus in on what I believe are the most egregious aspects of this bill, starting with Schedule 16. If there was ever a schedule in an omnibus bill that should be a standalone, separate piece of legislation, it is the schedule creating the divorce between the Northern Ontario School of Medicine and Laurentian and Lakehead University. You know, Speaker, there's a history in this province of when you establish a university, you have standalone legislation. Many experts, academic experts, faculty, student associations, community, business, and Indigenous leaders all came to committee, wrote to committee, and have raised serious and significant concerns about the government's proposal to make NOSM a standalone medical school. Matter of fact, it would be the only unaffiliated standalone medical school in all of Canada. And there are 3 reasons I believe this schedule should be removed from the bill, and if for no other reason, the government members should vote against the bill. First is the lack of consultation and due process with people in the North around the design of this schedule. I can't tell you how many people came to committee and said how disrespectful it was for the government to include this schedule in this bill, given how critically important NOSM is to the North's economy, the North's healthcare system, the North's academic systems. As a matter of fact, Dr. Arnold Aberman, who was one of the architects establishing NOSM, said that this bill, and this is my second concern, presents serious challenges to the potential accreditation and quality of NOSM. According to Dr. Aberman, NOSM has been incredibly successful, which we all know, but according to him, it actually exceeded his wildest dreams about how successful it would be in improving health care in the North. And so why fix something that is not broken, especially when it could result in accreditation concerns? And I want to quote from Angie Maltese, the chair of the Board of Governors of Lakehead University. The proposed legislation creates accreditation risk for NOSM and financial risk for the taxpayers of Ontario. The foundation provided by NOSM's host universities, Lakehead and Laurentian, ensures that required quality assurance and accreditation outcome. There is no assurance that the medical degrees would satisfy the provincial quality assurance criteria or retain accreditation as a standalone medical school. Speaker, every medical school in Canada is affiliated with accredited university for a reason. It improves education. It improves outcomes. It improves the ability to recruit and retain faculty. It improves the ability to recruit and retain students and attract international students. And especially in the North, it is critically important, and we heard this from Indigenous leaders, to have the seamless connection between Lakehead and Laurentian and NOSM. And so I don't understand why the government is doing it. And it's not even going to save them money, because everybody came to committee, and this is my third point, talked about the financial risk associated with doing this, because you're creating now duplicate administration, you're creating duplication in terms of provision of student services, and you're undermining the collective bargaining agreements of faculty at the university. So, Speaker, I implore the government members, do your homework on this. Matter of fact, I think your own candidate, and I think it was one of the Thunder Bay ridings, actually said, I don't want to even run for you if you're going to bring the schedule forward. Do your homework. This bill should be defeated for this schedule alone. Secondly, Speaker, I now want to turn my attention to Schedules 5 and 19, which essentially put the final nail in the coffin of the Green Energy Act. and basically say to the world that Ontario is closed for business when it comes to renewable energy. This is going to undermine our climate goals, it's going to increase energy prices, and it's going to undermine economic recovery and job creation. You know, when the government canceled renewable energy contracts, it cost the province over $200 million. A study showed that it cost the province an additional 6,000 jobs, and it cost the province $500 million in direct investment. So what's the government's climate plan when it comes to energy? Ramp up gas plants. A 300% increase in pollution over the next decade, 500% over the next 2 decades, undermining 40% of the reductions Ontario achieved through the coal phase-out. Is it going to save us money? No. The government acts as if we're in 2010, not 2021. The price of renewable energy, the price of solar energy has dropped by 90% since 2010 and 71% for wind energy. They're now the lowest form cost of energy. So the government wants to ramp up gas, which costs about 11.8 to 12 cents a kilowatt hour, and increase climate pollution. And they're saying no to commercial-grade solar, which the latest contractual prices have ranged between 3.8 and 5.5 cents a kilowatt hour. Saying no to onshore wind, 3.4 to 7 cents a kilowatt hour. And offshore wind, 11.2 cents a kilowatt hour, to say yes to gas, 11.8, 12 cents a kilowatt hour, or SMR, 16.3 cents a kilowatt hour. In my books, when you have an investment strategy, you want to buy low and sell high. Well, what Ontario's doing is the Liberals bought high, and now the Conservatives are selling low. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's going to cost us jobs, Speaker. Right now, 11 million people around the world work in clean energy. Over the last 5 years, 77% of global investment has gone into renewable energy. By 2050, there will be $8 trillion invested in renewable energy globally. If Canada would take advantage of this opportunity, Simon Fraser University estimates we would create 560,000 jobs in Canada. But the government is saying no to that, saying no to jobs, saying no to investment, and saying yes to pollution and high energy costs. Which finally brings me to the point I want to make about Schedule 21. This is a red tape reduction bill, but it actually increases red tape on the most vulnerable in our society, people on social assistance. It makes changes to the way in which Ontario works that actually creates more invasive procedures and coercive actions into people's lives. I tried to move I want this schedule gone, but I tried to move some amendments at committee, Speaker, to at least mitigate the worst aspects about how this schedule is going to create more red tape and create more barriers to benefits for the most vulnerable in our society. If the government truly wants to help people on social assistance, then raise the rates. It's pretty simple, Speaker, raise the rates. Who can survive on $733 a month? Especially when the average apartment in most places is well over $1,000. Who can survive on $733 a month? Speaker, I want to close by what small business has asked for. Many businesses came to committee and said, we want a third round of funding in the Ontario Business Support Grant. Just get it done. Doesn't get done in this bill, Speaker, and I encourage every member of this House to vote against Bill 276. Thank you, Speaker.